It had been a morning full of snowflakes. Katie discovered that even if you catch a snowflake in your hand, it melts before you can admire it. Orbie found out that sometimes when you throw the snow off your shovel, it blows back in your face. And they both learned that decorating the front yard with snow angels is a pretty thing to do. At lunch, while Katie and Orbie were eating hot soup and sandwiches, Dad talked to Mom about water conservation. Dad said that people just had to work harder to save water. Mom nodded her head and agreed. As they put on their snowsuits, Katie asked Orbie if he knew how to help save water. Orbie shook his head. He knew about the universe and the stars, but not about water. Soon, Katie and Orbie were busy making snowballs. Orbie made a big, lumpy one. Katie found some stones on the sidewalk and made a snowball with a face. It made Orbie laugh. Katie took it in to show Mom and Dad. Mom was upstairs pulling winter clothes out of the closet. She laughed too when she saw the snowball. Dad was down in the basement fixing a chair. Katie showed him the snowball. Dad told her it was terrific. Then he told her that if she wanted to keep it, she'd better head outside. It would melt in the house. As Katie walked up the basement stairs, she noticed that her mitt was getting all soggy. In a flash, Katie raced outside. Orbie was making a pile of snowballs. Katie shouted as she ran out the door. She had a fabulous idea. She'd thought of a way to save water. They would collect all the snow they could and put it in the bathtub. That way they'd save a whole bathtub full. Orbie wondered where the water came into it. Katie reminded Orbie that snow turns into water when you warm it up. Within seconds, they were loading up pots and buckets and dragging them across the snow to the door. It was a bit heavy, but together they could do it. Next, they brought the buckets and pots into the house and up the stairs. Katie popped the plug into the tub, and they dumped their buckets of snow in. It made a soft swooshing sound, and Orbie burbled his amazement. They both looked at the tub. There was still a lot of tub to fill, but there was no problem because they had a whole neighborhood full of snow. They hurried out to collect more. Up and down they went, one trip after another. After what seemed like 100 trips, they were finally finished filling the tub. Katie was happy that the water was safe. Orbie was happy, too. They were both soaking wet and pretty tired. Saving water was a lot of hard work. In Katie's room, they tugged off their snowsuits and tried to think of what to do next. Within a very few minutes, the two friends, both holding books, fell sound asleep. Mom peeked in and saw Katie and Orbie asleep, holding books. She thought they looked cute. She went to get Dad. Dad smiled when he saw them. He covered them up and took the books away so they could sleep comfortably. Mom discovered the snowsuits. She went into the washroom to hang them up. In the washroom, the air was a bit colder than it should be. Mom looked at the tub. She was surprised to see that it was piled full of snow. That didn't make any sense. Then she looked at the soaking suits and knew how the snow got there. Dad came in behind her. He was surprised to see the snow, too. They giggled all the way down to the living room. They tried to figure out what Katie and Orbie were up to. Much later, when the friends woke up, they checked the bathroom. There was the tub full of water. Katie's plan had worked perfectly. Dad came in and asked why they put the snow in the tub. Katie explained that the streams and lakes needed everyone to help save water. So she was collecting snow and saving it in the bathtub. Dad smiled and congratulated Katie and Orbie for trying to do something about a very real problem. This was a wonderful idea, but not very practical. Snow would make a very chilly bath, and the water would make the house damp and cold. You'd have to be a polar bear to want to be in that. Then Dad told them he had some ideas on saving water, and he would share them. As they walked down the stairs, he explained that it wasn't about saving water in the tub, although that was a fine idea. In part, saving water was about keeping it clean in the first place. It was important not to put poisonous or dirty things into the water. Dad explained that this meant things like old paint and greasy oil. These mix with the water and pollute it. This reaches the plants that live in it and around it, and the animals that drink it and the fish that swim in it, and it makes them all sick. The big companies that pumped lots of this poisonous garbage into the water were now trying very hard to clean it up and not pollute anymore. Katie and Orbie clapped their hands about that one. That was important. Dad said another way to save water was to leave the car at home when they could. Orbie scratched his head and burbled. Well, how could not driving a car help save water? I'm glad you asked, Dad said. He explained that the fumes from the exhaust pipe of the car are very poisonous. They float up into the sky and get stuck in raindrops. When it's time to rain, all of that stuff rains right back down to the rivers and the lakes and the forest and all the animals again. They walked into the kitchen. Mom was washing the pots and buckets. Katie and Orbie helped dry. Dad pointed out that the second part of conserving water had to do with them. Mom said that they could help by using water wisely. That meant keeping a jug of cold drinking water in the fridge instead of running the tap until it was cold enough. They could also turn the water off while they were brushing their teeth so that it wasn't pouring out for nothing and being wasted. Dad added that taking showers sometimes instead of baths was good too because showers use less water. Katie and Orbie loved showers. That night for fun, they tried the chilly snow water bath. Oh, but nobody got more than a toe in. Orbie tooted that he wasn't a polar bear for sure. Both friends were happy there was a better way to save water. Most of all, Katie was glad that we could all make a difference. And I know that if you think about it, you'll find a way to help save water for the earth too. Because the earth really matters to all of us.